Hi, I'm Dr. Cameron. Welcome to my truck talk. I'm basically talking to you about things as I go about my day, in between appointments, things like that. So as far as today, we're going to talk about, in fact, I am a veterinarian, so I'm going to talk about some veterinary topics. This is in no way, shape, or form supposed to be medical advice for one pet. This is, in fact, just a general, what you should be doing for your pet in general. If you have very specific pet questions, if you want me to see your pet, I'm more than happy to call the clinic. I'd be happy to see your dog or cat or loved animal. However, this is, in fact, just to talk about general concepts in veterinary medicine. So today we're going to start with some pretty basic things and just kind of go through a couple items. So I'm first going to talk about heartworms and the heartworm test. And this is something a lot of you probably heard about if you have a dog. If you're from the South, like I am, from North Carolina, it is Heartworm Central. If you do not have your pet, in fact, on a heartworm prevention once a month, they will get heartworms. How are heartworms spread? They are spread through mosquito bites. So if you think that your loved animal is not, in fact, exposed to heartworms, if they are a dog, that is wrong. Mosquitoes can get inside your home. They love it. I get bites occasionally in my house when one gets through the open door, and it happens. So dogs get heartworms, and basically what the heartworms do is when the mosquito bites the dog, gets into their bloodstream, circulates throughout their body, and it deposits in their heart, and the worms grow there, in between the heart and lungs in the blood vessels themselves. It's a pretty devastating disease. So if your dog, best case scenario, gets heartworm and needs heartworm treatment, it is typically about $3,000 to treat your dog. $3,000. That is so expensive, but it's worth it if you can catch it early. And that's where it becomes really important. If you do not, in fact, catch it early, it becomes what we call cable syndrome. It's where the worms get so big, they end up dying, and causing basically blood clots around the body because of the worms themselves. That's really serious. It's really bad. A lot of dogs will die from cable syndrome. I get a lot of pushback from local rescues that want to do slow kill method, and here's my 2 cents on the slow kill method. It doesn't work. The American Heartworm Society has published over and over again that it is, in fact, not effective to do the slow kill method. Basically what the slow kill method does is it just says any worms in that dog's body at that time cannot reproduce. It does not, in fact, kill those worms in that dog's body. Those ones stay there. It's not what we call adulticide. It doesn't kill the adult worms. So what the problem with that is then basically you're just saying that dog just has to live with those adult heartworms until the adult heartworms die, which is about 5 to 6 years, give or take. So you're basically saying that dog's gonna have heartworms until the worms die, and we're just gonna prevent them from breeding. Which, as I'm sure you can imagine, if you think about the heartworms are probably this long, just living in your heart when you're a dog and your heart's this big. It's not great. It's not a good thing. The really awesome thing is we, as a veterinary society, I can't take any credit for this. I'm not, in fact, the one that created it, but we have created a lot of what we call heartworm preventions. For those of you not in a heartworm heavy area, the great thing about heartworm prevention is they also prevent GI parasites. So they just prevent worms. Just think about worm prevention. So they prevent worms that also attack the GI tract. So that's great. So if you have a dog, the best thing you can do for your dog is keep them on a monthly heartworm prevention. And I say monthly, I mean monthly all year round. I don't care if you think it is not summer yet, it is. The biggest reason I see the heartworm prevention fail if it is not monthly is the fact that a mosquito just happens to slip in during a time that's not common, or you forget that, oh, it is in fact spring, it is actually now June. Whoa, it's actually summer and I haven't started it yet. Oh no. So I'm gonna start it now, and that's a little bit too late. So just keep it on once a month, all year round. It's really good for also protecting against the GI parasites, and that's the best thing you can do for your dog. If you buy a year's supply of heartworm prevention, there's lots of good rebates out there. It's probably in general around $100 for a year's supply. And so honestly, I would much rather pay $100 a year versus risk my dog getting heartworms and have to pay $3,000 best case scenario to treat it, versus having worst case scenario where they actually die from it. So it's a really important step that please do not miss on your loved dog. Your dog means a lot to you. Your dog means a lot to me. I would rather you pay $100 a month or a year for heartworm prevention than end up having to have you have an emergency where it's $3,000. So please keep your dogs on monthly heartworm prevention. A little caveat into cats, because I know a lot of people on here are like me, they're cat families, they have a lot of cats. Cats are actually like a lot better at targeting heartworms. They're not really sensitive to it. So from like a feline health perspective, it's not as important in certain areas of the country to keep them on heartworm prevention. In certain heartworm beds, it's still really important. I really like the fact that most feline products are flea, tick, and heartworm prevention, right? So you don't really have to choose. You can just use one that will get fleas, ticks, what you'd already be protecting them from. So just to get a good product that will also get heartworms, just to be on the safe side to make sure. So cats are like a lot less sensitive to it. If they get heartworms, it doesn't in fact mean that they're going to get diseased. Sometimes their immune system can deal with it on its own. But in dogs, if they get bit by a mosquito with heartworms, they will get it if they're not on heartworm prevention. So please do your furry loved friend a solid and get them your supply of heartworm prevention. There are a lot of good products out there. If you don't know what product to get, talk to your local vet and they will be more than happy to talk to you about that. And that's it. That's my talk on heartworm prevention. Thanks.